good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining Liberia Rise on this day, Sunday, February 9, 2025. I know it's Super Bowl Sunday. Many of you are engaged and getting ready, either with people coming over to your homes or you are out and about in order to celebrate this day. I don't understand football well, but those of you who are fans of football, want to just say, may the best team win, whether it is the Eagles or the Chiefs. Whosoever win today, may the best team win. I know being out here in Pennsylvania, there's many routing for the Eagles to win today. But this is an edition of Liberia Rise. My name is Emmanuel George. And thank you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, or wheresoever you are joining us on this wonderful, wonderful Sunday afternoon. You may be aware that in recent time there have been different pronouncements about deportation, mass deportation from the U.S. And this situation has led to many people living in fear, both in Liberia and here in the United States. So today we needed to take a time to just have this conversation: what actually is going on, how can ways we can work our way around this. Just a general conversation of what is going on. Mr. Sherry will be joining me later on. Our chief producer, Mr. Kayla, is in the background. He also will be joining us. We're still waiting for Freedom FM 89.7 to join us from Monrovia, Liberia. But in the meantime, we're going to take our introductory song, and then we'll come back. We're going to roll with the conversation. Again, welcome back to Liberia Rise. Thank you for joining us wherever you are joining us. I know that Freedom FM have joined us through YouTube. So welcome for those our listeners in Liberia. Again, my name is Emmanuel George. I will be joined by Dr. Positive Steve Keller, and also Mr. Sherry is running kind of late. He will be joining us later. But the conversation we're going to have this afternoon is going to be around the broad conversation that have been within different immigrants community here within the United States, and how it affects the community in Liberia, because As you know, many of us who are of African descent or immigrant descent, we are normally responsible for up to 6 persons in our family. So whatsoever affects those of us who have migrated to this part of the world may also affect our family members back home. So let's get the story straight, right? When this administration was sworn in, the current U.S. administration under His Excellency President Donald J. Trump was sworn in his first on the 20th of January. In his very first week, he signed into law some executive order. That is a privilege the presidents of the United States have to pass things into to put things into process here in the U.S. without going through the U.S. Congress. So the president have the power of the passing executive orders, and that's also good with Liberian law. So the first major executive order on immigration enforcement was within the interior United States of America. He directed the Homeland Security to vastly expand the nation's detention infrastructure and begin detaining everyone arrested by the Homeland Security pending removal for deportation. So that the order gave Homeland Security the right to arrest anyone and put them in detention for a while until conversation can be held as to where the country of origins and where they will be deported to. So this emboldened to conduct arrests in places. So unlike other governments in the past, now this new executive order allowed ICE, the Department of Homeland Security, to go into schools, into churches, into hospitals, and into courthouses to arrest people who are residing here in the United States illegally. So that's the first executive order on immigration. ICE was now emboldened to arrest anyone who was living in the interior part of the United States illegally, and they could be arrested anywhere, in schools, in churches, in courthouses, anywhere that has some kind of protection before. Because before ICE, no one used to go into church to arrest people. So you have churches that was serving as shelter until people go through these people non-documented aliens or illegal, whatsoever you call them, not documented, have the right to get lawyers and go through the process. But now they could be arrested anywhere. Even before, you could come into this country illegally with your kids, and then they are registered into the school system, and they're allowed to have free educational system, like free education, rather, like every other persons that live here in the United States from K to 12. That's made from kindergarten to 12th grade. It's free education in the government system in the U.S. And if you are an illegal, undocumented alien, your child was granted this opportunity. We're all asking for documentation. Those maybe the main thing they ask for vaccines and other things. There's health things that they needed. They address so that as to know whether they are in this particular district or not. So that was passed. So that's the first portion of this law that was passed. Then another executive order was passed, and this one was focused on the borders of the U.S. And then so that's to stop. Because at a particular time of the year, we have a lot of people coming to the United States on long trek, walking from countries in Central America, coming to the Mexican border, and they were processed to come into the U.S. So the second was to stop that massively, and so those were the things that were in place, and Trump appointed leaders to take over to work on this mass deportation. Now, just hearing those executive order and seeing what was happening, some of you watched videos, some of them we couldn't authenticate, some were authenticated. Seeing those videos put fear in most immigrant community. In fact, our own one of our local newspaper, Front Page Africa, had this reporting in their in one of the news article. Front Page Africa reported that was Front Page Africa. Excuse me, let me just get the date correct for those of you who are out there and you want to look at the article on Front Page Africa. Front Page Africa reported that that there was going to be deportations of Liberia. This was reported on January 28, 2025. When Front Page Africa reported that there was 1,563 Liberians who was part of the broader crackdown to be deported back to Liberia, and that shook the system too, because some popular bloggers on Facebook even had names of people attached to this 1,563 persons that was going to be deported to Liberia. So our conversation this afternoon is this true? Is that what is going on? What can you do to protect yourself and to support your family members? I know there are some Facebook articles that seems to be very depressing, especially from Liberia, where people are rejoicing, they are excited that people have been deported. We'll give you an idea why you should not be rejoicing, be excited for another person's misfortune. And I know some of us revel in other people's misfortune, but there are times that perhaps you don't know the repercussion of what is going on, what will happen, and how it's going to affect you. So Mr. Sherry have joined us here on this show. So we will have this conversation together. I was just laying the groundwork. So let me lay the groundwork. Then Mr. Sherry will pick it up. One, on the 20th of January, President Donald J. Trump was inaugurated as the 47th president of the United States of America. On that same day, he signed over 200 executive orders. And one of those executive orders have to do with immigration enforcement. What is new about this immigration enforcement is that before ICE, the Department of Immigrant that deal with immigration issue in Homeland Security was granted, did not go into churches, they did not go into school, they did not go into courthouses to arrest people. Now they can arrest people anywhere, anytime. In fact, some places like Alabama and other Arizona, some report of a checkpoints being set up in order to look at documentation. So that's the situation we have going on, and that's why we have this conversation. So, Mr. Sheriff, you are welcome to join in this conversation. Glad to have you around. How is it out there with you?
Man, so far so good on my end. Thank God, so far so good. I think we're still holding the fort. Everybody is doing well, and so yeah. But thanks for carrying on the show. And I really want to pick up from where you already laid the groundwork. But I think there's something you said, because I've seen the blog, I've seen the post, I've seen a lot of different things also coming from our brothers back home. Some are jubilating that people are getting deported and being sent back home. So I want us to start from there. Let's start from there, Dr. George, and think the way people are thinking. Why would you think people are celebrating or people are happy that their brothers or sisters, maybe not their direct relatives, are being deported to Liberia? And there is no truth to the 1,000 something number that people are putting out there anyway. But let's just talk about the mindset. What mindset must you be in to be celebrating that someone else is getting deported?
There's something that is popular in Liberian conversation. Maybe some people have heard called the crab mentality. And when you put crabs in a bucket and one of those crabs is trying to get out, the other crabs will keep pulling them down. Some people have that mentality that perhaps they are not excited when others are succeeding, and therefore they find it easy to celebrate the downfall of people than to celebrate the excellence of people. That's the first thing. Second, there are many people in Liberia, in Africa for that matter, who don't understand the dynamics of immigrating into a foreign country. I'm not only talking about coming to the US, but dynamics of immigrating into a foreign country. Sure, they believe that when you hit a friend of mine who was on our program some time ago, Lieutenant Colonel Simeon Smith, who was on our program when we did This Could Be You. There was this joke we used to have when we're in Cote d'Ivoire and in Ghana, that when you hit JFK Airport, the ice cream would be just wasted from the wall. Right? So you can take a cup and then pour ice cream. Life would just become, all you have to do is to hit JFK. Once you hit JFK and get out, things are easy and normal, and then you start working. There are people who expect that when they hear you working in the US, you're making a lot of money. They don't know the dynamics of the type of work that you have to do to have a certain amount of income. So it's all that plays into those people's head. And then some of them now, maybe Sheriff and I were sharing room together, Camp Johnson Road or Broad Street. Sherry begin Lockett. He either won DV or something. He came to the US. He came to the US. Now, maybe I called Sherry the first week trying to hustle on Sherry. Sherry said, my man, thing high. Called the second time, you didn't get Sherry on the line. Then you hear Sherry being deported. He said, that good for that man, man. That man went to like, he went to, sorry, I'll be using like brain English because we have a lot of our viewers in one over there. That man went to America. He couldn't even pick up his phone. I mean, even low ball. He come like, but that man, I mean, PC, you know. So people like that who feel hurt that you did not pick the phone calls. There was no interaction, even though you people need to eat Gary yogurt together. You people need to eat the buckwheat together, and, you know. and now you are come to the U.S. that you no longer eat the buckwheat, so you forget about your buckwheat man in Liberia. And those people take it personal, and it can be family members. Because when you were coming to the U.S., maybe 2 buses took you to the airport. And, you know, you remember those pictures? You took 2 buses of family members, everybody hugging you, embracing you, celebrating that we have been liberated from poverty because Sherry is coming to America. So you got on that plane, and those 2 people in the buses, they got a children that say Uncle Sherry in America. The children got to go to school. Then they start calling you after your first 3 weeks. It's time for school to open. They're calling you now, expecting that you hit JFK, the ice cream was dropping from the walls. You took some of the ice cream, and then you had a lot of money in that sense. And those people also be celebrating and say, yeah, then we carried Sherry to the airport. He ain't do nothing for us. Then he come by here. Everyone always sit down in the movie. We eat our dry bread together. So that's why I believe we see these kinds of celebrations.
Yeah, and just to add to though, I think I like you said, rightly, Dr. George, out of anger. Some people are doing it out of anger. Some people are doing it out of jealousy, right? Out of mere jealousy, it's like, all right, you had the opportunity, you went there, you didn't do nothing, now you're coming back, and they deported you. And people don't look at what it requires to get papers in America. That's why when I was in Liberia in 2022, I was telling people, I said, if you are working here, I think we had a show, and we said, if you are over 40, don't try to go to America. If you are over 45, if you are over 50, don't try to go to America. Stay in Liberia, where even if the government is sending you once every 3 years or 4 years to go on an international trip, is better than packing up, selling everything you have at age 40 to come to America, or age 45 or 50 to come to America on visiting visa, right? And those are the people that are sadly going back. Some of them may have come on that same thing where they had everything, you know, they had everything and they sold it to come to America. And some people been here 30 years trying to get papers, and it hasn't worked for them, you know. So, and these people have worked under the table, they have worked on cover to help family members. So it's painful and sad, you know, to see your own people celebrating your fall, you know. And these people, even though they never had paper, they will go to accept abuse from somebody because they're working under the table. They will go to be abused by some employer who know their situation and basically will not pay them correctly, but they will insult them every day. But these people will pack up, wipe their feet, and go to work. So to the Liberians that are celebrating, what I would tell you is your celebration will impact you in a way too, because when these people cannot send money again, Oman Julia will not be able to send her daughter to school, because the money you take to go buy from Oman Mary or Oman Julia, you will not get that money again, because that's the same money these people were taking to send to you. And all of us will be impacted one way or another. Liberia budget is 500 million. The money that immigrants send to Liberia is way 10 times more than the budget of Liberia. So we all should be begging or even reaching out to the American government to say, hey, hold on, please don't send our people back, because we will be suffering. Our government cannot help us, and the money you're taking from our pocket will impact all of us.
While the show is going to really focus on immigration today and the deportation, you know, I don't want us to lose track. You know, as I'm preparing for my trip to go, I've had some folks call me and tell me, say, just be careful when you come, because we'll think that they deport you too. So I said, no problem. If you think that, that's fine. You know, even though they do it as they say as a joke, but basically that goes to the mindset psychologically. For me, I always look at things from a psychological standpoint. It goes to the psychological mindset of who we are as a people, not only in Liberia, even here in this great United States of America. That the Liberian community have not found that cohesiveness where we can uplift each other. And I think that's why I really like the analogy that you made, Dr. George, about pulling people down when you're trying to clip up. Liberian people, I know a business that open, a Liberian business that open in a certain jurisdiction in this country, and Liberians will not go to support that business, and those people were forced to shut that door because we'll rather go to the Mexican shops or the Italian place and buy food, but we will not go to support our own people, and so those people were forced to shut that door. It happening here. So I am not in any case surprised to see what's happening, the jubilation, people who celebrating in Monrovia. Look, whether I came and send you money or not, should you celebrate my downfall? Should you do that? No, it makes no sense whatsoever. I may not send you money directly, but the money that I'm sending for my other family members or other people that are benefiting, whether I'm doing charity work in the country, that money is still impacting the economy one way or the other. And so that is one aspect. I know we have not touched economy yet, but that is one aspect. But I just want to say this goes to the mindset of us as Liberians, the extent that we will go. And it is no joke why when people go to Liberia and they, God forbid, they pass, the story always come up that it was a family member who killed them. It was a friend that took them to drink. Somebody poisoned that food. All of these stories come out. It should not be said of us. We should not be walking in that direction. And so, Dr. George, I'll let you kind of comment on that segment again before we move to the economy piece of it.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Sheriff. And let me, maybe the challenge we have is that when majority of us come to the US, we don't tell people the true story. And I agree with you, Mr. Sheriff. I came here in my 40s. So I agree with, there's no reason. I mean, if you can, that when you come in your 40s here, it's a different ball game. Age is not on your side. Whether you like it or not, employers have age discrimination in certain sectors. I came from the school sector. In the academic sector, there's a lot of age discrimination. It's not written on the paper, but you will see it. So, but people think you're trying to stop them from coming to this land of greener pasture. And another thing that we have, because we are not clear with people. When some of our people go home for Christmas, you don't know what they come back to. The obvious fact, I have traveled to Liberia several times. You have to plan going to Liberia and plan coming back from Liberia. How much money you spend before you have to take care of your bills going to Liberia. And when you come back, maybe you spend one more, you come back, those bills are waiting for you. You have to pay all those bills when you come back. So you don't only plan traveling to Liberia, you plan traveling coming back, because when you come back, you're going to get that 2 weeks check. Some of you travel on PTO. Some people do a lot of overtime, and they definitely know that a PTO cannot take care of the overtime you do. So you come back, what you have is minimal. So how is it like? They have this conversation. We'll move on, Mr. Sherry. How is it like when you come to this country? When you come to this country, first you experience what we call cultural shock. You understand that those things that you've been reading in the paper, those Facebook posts that you've been looking at of Mary, Peter, James, and John, it doesn't exist. Their life, they feel it's easy for me to take picture. So you come to that cultural shock. Maybe you saw John driving or taking picture beside a Hummer or expensive car. Yes, if you have a good credit in this country, any car you want get, you can get it. But you will pay through your ears for it every month. Some of those cars, you are paying $1,000 every month for those cars. I'm making myself look big to you, but you don't know. There are people in this country who normally won't sleep in their own house. Maybe they sleep on their own bed once a week because they have to show that external lifestyle to you. Then, when you come in first, if you don't have proper documentation, there are certain places that offer very good job will not pay you, except you have to come on what we call the H-1 visa. But if you are not on H-1 visa, you come on an ordinary visa, places that can employ you, that will employ you and pay you properly, you won't have those type of opportunity because your document have to go through scrutiny. So some of your brothers and sisters that you see in this unfortunate situation, this is what happening. But finally, Mr. Sheriff, last week, Monday, I was opportune to be in a meeting with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. The the incoming ambassador to the U.S. and several leaders of the Liberian communities here in the U.S. And it was very clear that there are only 3 Liberians that have been that the U.S. government have confirmed to be deported. And the 3 of them was deported on February 5th. They're already in country, only 3. So all these posting that some of you are making up, all these 1,000 people, how they call it, the U.S. government have not communicated to Liberia that number is going to be deported. The only communication the Liberian government have is about 3 persons, and those 3 persons was deported on February 5th. They are in Liberia right now. Thank you, Mr. Sherry.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Josh. Thank you, Dr. Josh. And I think I want to just kind of dwell just a little bit on this because, again, we should be in the business of supporting each other. And the reason this is super important, look, I would say it, but that because there's only one way to say it. We do not need President Bouaka to come and advocate for us. That is not what we're asking. And no one is actually even making that request. That is not a goal here. But what we do have here is people should actually think about the difference that diaspora Liberians are actually making in our community. When you go to that country, you are not spending less than, I don't know, if you manage to stay under 2,000, you did well. We will give you the did well trophy. The country the country is hard. And not only is the country hard, but cost of living is hard also, according to, based on Liberian standard. And so people are coming, not only they may not be putting money in your pocket directly, but they are impacting the local economy. I got students that I'm caring for in that place. And because I have students, I'm not going to say how many, but I got students I'm caring for. And that is an impact that is making directly to the country. And there are lots of other people here who got businesses running over there as well. And so to celebrate that, someone is getting deported, it will be taking money out of someone else's pocket who is working on those projects in Liberia. Your unemployment is going to go up. Cost of living is still going to be higher. Things are going to be still crazy. And all of those things, it does not make your life better, does not make my life better. We all sit and look at each other. Why celebrate? It makes no sense whatsoever. And so, Dr. George, let's look at the economic impact that this, if the so-called number, which again, there is no truth to it. We already talked about this. There is no truth to the number that people got bouncing around, that there are 1,000, some more people being deported to Liberia. None of that has happened. So it is all the Facebook lie. But if for some reason that was the case, let's look at the economic impact that it will cause the country.
Okay, yeah. First of all, let's look. Dr. Posey did talk about remittances. We remit a lot of money into Liberia. I'll send with a family last evening where one half of the family look at a send wave and say, "What? I sent all the money to Liberia this year. This is only send wave. They have not gone to check the money and other stuff. But that send wave, I made it to share with that. But the remittance we send to Liberia, that's the first thing. The second thing is that these people who are coming back to Liberia, they are coming with different mindsets. Some of them have been in this country for 20, 30 years. Unfortunately, because of the challenges of the society, they may not have been documented, and they seem to be deported. Now, when they come back, like they said, it's a total different mindset they're coming with, and they have to adjust in the community. Now, so first of all, we have the reduction in remittance. And the second thing is that we have these new people coming into the system that do not even know the system. They are being away for long. Mm-hmm. Once they don't know the system we have a country where we have less than 10% of our people employed. So, and we don't. The last time we did the labor discussion here, we don't have any statistics to show it. All the government that have been ruling our country since the end of the Civil War, we don't have stats to show how many persons they employ, how many persons are employed monthly. So these people they are coming to bear on the economy because they don't have money, they don't have fixed income. They come into a society that is difficult to find job. So now they're going to put burden on this already weakened economy that we have. Then we have to struggle that some of those who are on this list, they published list from Front Page Africa Cities 1,563, where people already on deportation list doing during the government of President Biden. So definitely some of them may have been in some kind of crime. So some of these people who are coming are sophisticated criminals. And we are excited that they're coming back into our community. They bring a new kind of criminality with them that is will be even smarter than our police. The idea of crime has been, depend on what level they did the crime, has been at another level. Now we're struggling with drug situation in our country. Some of these people who are on this list that we try to peddle up, they have been in, they are either drug addict or pusher on the street that was arrested. They are bringing that into the society. So it's not only for us to be excited because there are different things coming into our community. Let me just open our people's mind, for example. During the Liberian Civil War, many of us traveled to different countries. Some of us went to Guinea, we went to Sierra Leone, we went to Cote d'Ivoire, we went to Ghana, we went to Nigeria. At the end of the war, when we all were being told to come back, when we came back with different mentality, the Sierra Leone making, we own the Nigerian making, we own the Ghana making, we own the Ivorian making, we own. In fact, one of the staple food that is in Monrovia now was not a staple food in Liberia before the war. Acheke. How many of us went to restaurant and asked for acheke and poisson? Not many of us. But we went to Cote d'Ivoire, we saw acheke, we saw poisson, we got news to it, and we brought it with us. There are several big restaurants in Monrovia, Doma Valley, Ghana Doma. How many of us used to wake up in the morning and say that Doma I want to eat? I mean, besides only the Bassa people who know eat Doma, the people from Nima will eat Geba. But if you go to Doma Valley or you go to the Ghana restaurant opposite the Ministry of Health, that place is packed every day with Liberians going there who have traveled from Ghana and they love fufu. That have changed it not only changed our diet in Liberia, but it's also changed our mental concept in the country. So these people that are coming as deportees, they are bringing different things. If they come, if it happens, which we're working towards that it won't happen, but if it happens, they are bringing extra burden on the economy. They're bringing new mindset into our country. They are bringing their good side, and they are also bringing a bad side. And those are things that we have to, we cannot be excited about. Because if they are bringing drugs back, they have become smarter how to sell drugs in the street in America. They become smarter how to do crimes in America. And they're coming back to Liberia. There's nothing that is going to stop them from doing that because there's no job for them. They are in a country where they can get job. They didn't get job. They're going to drugs. They are bringing that with them in Liberia. And those are the things that we should not start celebrating because it's not only the good that is coming, but the bad is also coming.
Yeah, so Dr. George, I will come back to Stephen here real quick, but I wanted to just kind of really stay focused on the economy for now. So we'll go to the safety issue here soon, but staying focused here on the economy, you know, if you just look at the overall, what the executive orders does and the burden that it puts on the government itself, look at the Liberian government as a whole. Look at the Liberian government, and it is not just there. Here also, there was a time here, you know, federal government, I think after we won, federal government employees, they are still shaky. They don't even know. So they got to resign, they got to get a job. All of that is still in the balance. So this federal, I mean, this executive order does not just affect there, it affects here. I have friends I call from Liberia working with USAID who can't go to work. They're not working, they're not getting any income. Sorry, that's it. The letter I forwarded to you guys, that letter came from the friend. I forward that to you. And so basically, when you look at all of these, the economy, when you look at the economy, is going to struggle because number one, you have the Liberian government, the government itself, that was being supplemented by some of the income that was coming through these programs to the country. And so when you look at that money no longer coming into the country, your economy begins to shrink because of the $15,000 that you are paying these lawmakers, you no longer have that complementary or supplementary income to be able to do it. The project that you were trying to say, we're going to do this, we're going to do this project, do that project, the economy begins to shrink. And my hawa, the little cassava used to sell for $5 is now become $20. And so a lot of negative things will happen with what's taking place. So instead of people thinking about the big picture, they're just thinking about the narrow mind, the little narrow scope, because you didn't give me money when you were in America, so I want for you to come home. You don't think about that. But the impact on the economy is really huge. Dr. Paul, go ahead. Let's hear you from you on the economy. You are muted, sir. You are muted. You are muted. You are muted.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. George and Mr. Sharif. Again, this is a serious matter for our country and our people. And I just want, while we are discussing this, we want to put a challenge out there to our government too. It's about time that you really sit down and figure out what to do to lift the lives of your people up, right? because we all are abroad. We are trying our best, sending money. But if this get taken from under us, nobody should have to worry about going for everything to end for them in Liberia. You understand? We should say, all right, this happened, but I have a country that will welcome me. So that's the first thing I want to put out there, that the government also should start planning something for people that eventually, even if anybody get deported, one person, two person, that person may have been in America for 30 years. They don't have no family anymore. So the government should come up with a way to help these people. On the economic aspect, I just want to add one thing that is coming up that they haven't yet put in place. Eventually, they will start charging taxes on every remittances that we send out to our families. So that is coming soon. Then maybe they might put a limit on it too in the future. If that limit get put on it too,
that company you're working for, just gonna.
You're having problem hearing me?
Go ahead. I think you're back.
Yeah, and I said if there's a limit put on the money, right? If there's a limit put on the money that we can send, let's say they come up with something that say you can only send $500 a month or $500 a year. Those projects that we had that we used to send maybe $1,000 to work on, maybe $2,000 to work on, we can no longer do those things. So with these things coming up, all of us have to be praying for the best, because we don't know what else is coming down the pipeline. You understand? And going back to the people that are celebrating, we have to pray for our brothers and sisters that are in the U.S., that are around the world, because once America starts something, it becomes a ripple effect. Other countries could follow suit. So let's pray for everybody that are in the diaspora, so that this won't go on a global level. It should just be America for now. Because if that happened globally, our country will suffer. I can't lie, our country will suffer, because we send millions of dollars to Liberia. All of us, even if that $10 you send in, that $10 is having impact on the economy. And we have to all work and do everything we can to make sure that the U.S. government, or wherever this is coming from, that Liberia is kind of like overlook a little bit, because we will bear the brunt of this if they really impact us on a larger scale, you know. So and then another thing, one last thing here is the fact that even they said the DV lottery will be taken away eventually. And then when the visa process, if they start denying everybody visa to come to the US too, that will mess everything up. So I will turn it over to you guys again. But this is something that we all have to pray for and be on the good side, and hope that things get better.
Dr. George,
last point on the economy. I think, was it this week or last week, I was opportune to be in a webinar conference with real estate investment in Africa. Most of the members of that team came from Ghana. Mm-hmm. And there was a comparative analysis about this December remittance, where we had a year of return. The Ghanaians, they had Christmas program. The Ghanaians made about $1 billion investment went into the country because of the number of people who returned to Ghana in December. In Liberia, the number of people who returned to Liberia in December, we don't have all the data, so we can say it, but what is estimated was about 200 or 300,000 it was injected in Liberia. So with this whole issue of deportation, the whole issue of immigration, it may just reduce the number of Liberians who anticipate going back home, because because of the level of uncertainty. They don't want to put themselves in a situation where you travel and you have to come back with all this uncertainty. Last week there was this post that was circulating on WhatsApp and on Facebook about this Ivorian lady. Even though we finding out that the post was not actually factual, but that post put a lot of fear in people who were traveling, who traveled with do-ups. I mean, I had a friend in Liberia who went back home with Liberian passport, and he became afraid if he would be able to return with his U.S. passport, you know, because of that post that was circulating. So we have all these things going on, and that will affect our economy. If the rough estimate, we don't know because we don't take data in Liberia. If the rough estimate that Liberia who returned in Liberia just December alone pump in over $200,000 in the economy, and Ghana is over $1 billion. Just imagine if people become afraid they are not returning, they don't return home. Most of the hotels in Liberia, are occupied by Liberians who are traveling. Local Liberians don't go to hotel much. And they go to motel, they go to the lower one. But the hotels that calls in like Echo Lodge, we have these big hotels that are being developed in the country. They are being developed on the mindset that, we have a lot of people coming back in the country. They will be Liberians. They want to see the beauty of the country. They want to invest. We will be losing that amount of money. And some of those places will just have to fold up because they are not generating the funds they have because of the fear of being deported, the fear of being excommunicated from the US.
Yeah, and so basically that's the larger scale. That's the big picture that people should actually focus on, the impact it has, because it is a trickle-down effect. It starts from the top, it works its ways down to the lower people. And because of, you think you are receiving lots of friend requests right now. You think your inbox is overflowing. You think you're getting all of these messages. Wait until you see what happens in the next 6 months if nothing changes. The children there with their little golf cart and they're driving 4 or 5 cars with their big stomach and hanging out because they are government officials. That stomach will try to slim down. They will have to buy different sizes of pens, because the money that they are getting, those guys get paid than senators in this country. They get paid than representatives in this country. And so if that supplemental income is not coming, that all their little side chicken, they will start, y'all get ready. Your inbox is about to start overflowing. You'll get all of those calls coming in. And for me, I look at the economic impact. Right now, people are crying. This is private schools are expensive in our country. Wait until you see. Because the Ministry of Education, you are getting supplemented. The Ministry of Health sector is getting supplemented by income from here. And all of those pieces, if you can't do it, you think JFK is worse now? Wait. You think there's no ambulance? Wait. It will get worse. So instead of you sitting in your living room and clapping like, yeah, let them all come back. We'll all eat buckwheat and eat roasted cassava on the street. Instead of you celebrating that, you should be lobbying your government and actually seeing what can be done to help your country. But when you have a narrow mindscape, when you're thinking small, this is the effect. This is what we get. So let's talk about the public safety. Public safety, I know I started in that direction. Let's talk about public safety because, Dr. George, like you said, these individuals are not only coming back with the good, but they're coming back with the bad. You have our friend River Says Pro, who is giving some example that there are some people who have been deported. He listed 2 individuals here who gone and made a difference in the country. Good for them. Good for them. But
I'm not sure that he was deported. I'm not sure that I don't think Fonanti was deported.
Yeah, but no matter what the situation, good for those who made it back and they did something good. But most of these people, if you just wore your jeans and t-shirt that morning and you were going to take your daughter to school or your child to school and you got arrested, you're not going back home and say, oh, I'm in the bank. Let me go and take my money from the bank. Where they capture you from, you going until they're ready to send you back. They're going to keep you somewhere until they're ready to send you back. You're not going to say, let me go ahead and empty out my investment that I have. It's not happening. It's not happening. And so when these people come, they have to survive. They have to hustle. And so that hustling, whether it means getting involved in illegal activities, especially the ones that is in there deporting that were involved in crime, gang, if that's what they have to do, that's what they're going to have to do to survive. And so let's talk about the public safety, Dr. George. Let's start from there and see the health sector, the security sector. What does this do if the number was true, which we know the number is not true right now, by the way?
Yeah. So as I said before, when you return from foreign lands, you bring the good, and sometimes we bring the packages also. And these the packages we don't think about the packages that come along. So as you are alluded to, some according to the document, it's because of crime, and they live in a sophisticated country. They live in a country with technology. They have learned how to be criminals. Now we don't have a good cybersecurity in our country. Our government data every week you go on social media, you see different documents from government and leak out. So when these people come with a sophistication, with even the government itself will start leaking too, because you know, now not only the document will start having to leak out. So how do we put them in the system? We don't have. Do we have identifier? The first test, I know our president, there was this very beautiful communication that came out this week, but the very first test we had was the repatriation of Ghanaians from Ghana, Liberians from Ghana. We saw that the government failed woefully. When the pictures started coming up, where those people were staying, where they were living, we saw the government was woeful. They were not prepared for that. The second thing, as I would say, Caroline is pointing out here, is the issue of psychological impact. Because again, some people have been in this country for 30 years. The last time they were in Liberia, things were semi-working. But they are coming in a situation where almost nothing, things are working, but it's almost not working like they used to work before in the past. So they're
not working. Don't even give them hope.
You have to get adjusted, right? If you left Liberia 30 years ago, you did not know that there was something called pempe. You did not know there was something called keke. You have to be it's shocking to see those things. You don't know that there was sachet water, or the water you had to call the to drink. You never knew that existed in Africa. You didn't see it on the side, but you have to get adjusted to that. Now, our health system, someone was talking about it recently, a conversation we're having. Our health system is on an immense test now. Now, some of these people coming, they have been to doctors. Whether you are in prison or anywhere in the US here, you have, one of the rights is that you have the right to very good medical treatment. In fact, people in the prison, some of them get better medical treatment than some of us. So if these people are deported, now they already know they have been diagnosed. They know the they know the illness. They know the medication they're supposed to take. Do we have those kind of medication when they come back home? We may not have it, and that will also increase what are the psychological impact. So these are so many things. So as I agree with you, we should not just sit down as Liberians and start cheering that, oh, it's Paul that is coming home, Peter coming home. There's more than Paul, Peter coming home. There are different moving parts taking place in this situation, and we have to be very mindful and prepare ourselves for it. Yes, there will be positive side of it that we will talk about perhaps as we end the country or the program, but we should not forget about these packages that is coming along.
Yeah, and basically I want to take it from there, and I want to just keep echoing this as much as I can. Dr. Positive, I didn't want to take your time. If you want to talk about the healthcare also, please go ahead and make your point.
No. I mean, we're still talking about the crime of the security risk, right? So I just wanted to add my tip on that. I know you're trying to leave me out here today, Mr. Sharif, but let me add my take. Then I'll leave you and Dr. George with your show and go back in the background. Yeah. No. So okay, one thing I wanted to add as far as security is concerned, right? The drug dealer in America are different, right? In Liberia right now, when you got your friend dealing drug, I don't know how they're doing it. People not taking each other down, right? For territory and stuff like that. In the US, when you come in my territory, you out. If I can kill you, I will take you out. You understand? So that's a whole different ball game. So if a drug dealer or a drug person that was selling drug in America, if they are deported and he doesn't know anybody in Liberia, and that's what he has to do to survive, everybody should be scary right now, because these guys, they don't play. They go out for blood. You understand? So I just wanted to add that there and say, like, those that are doing drugs right now, or those that are happy that people are coming home, if people that are coming home are dangerous people in the US, they're coming home without danger. So we shouldn't be all celebrating. We should all be praying that this thing don't happen to our family members.
Yeah.
I know you're laughing.
No, but that's good. That's good, Dr. Paul. That's good. I mean, it's Riverset's point I was laughing at.
Exactly, that's what I was laughing at.
Riverset said the justice system in Liberia is different. It's directly eye for an eye. In Liberia, people just have to hear roll. Everybody drop it. So if you're gonna go commit a crime, then you better be
People don't
careful.
cry rule for sophisticated. The difference of Rosa Pro is that the sophistication. That's where the argument is coming from. People in Liberia don't call rule for sophisticated criminal.
Mhm.
They call rule for that local criminal who made a mistake and just somebody's purse. But these people who they can't, what they have been exposed to. I don't like to say on the show, but I've worked in the level of the justice system, and I've seen the level of sophistication. In fact, one of my patients recently was one who he uses GoFundMe to raise over $40,000-$50,000 from people parking. That is how the FBI track. He raised what? He raised over $60,000 on Donald Trump. And then he went to Las Vegas and were having fun. That had the FBI track him down. So it's a sophistication that we need to take account of. But you're right. I mean, there's no protective system as you have in the US here, but the level of sophistication, these boys will be in Royal Hotel, one of those hotels, on their computer, breaking down systems that doesn't work. Our internet, our security.
Dr. George, I mean, I'm sorry. You keep saying breaking. Dr. George, I'm sorry. You keep saying breaking down system. We had 2 cybersecurity person on our platform here, and they told you that even if you go to Liberia and you open your cell phone, you open it up to risk. You open your computer, open it up to risk. So system, I'm sorry, system, it's not working. I'm sorry, it's not working. You know, look, I'm not trying to demonize
system.
I'm not trying to make this situation look like that Liberia is just this village. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying, we have good laws, but unfortunately, those laws have not transitioned into practical, workable solutions. And because of that, it makes it difficult. I mean, come on, man. I mean, don't talk about those kids. Don't even have to work hard to even go and say we will get this person. Will log into all your mobile money. I mean, people are already doing the thing in Liberia. They're doing the thing in Liberia. When you go in Liberia, you start getting all of these text messages, and somebody say, "Oh, I just sent you $50 for mobile money. Can you send it back to me?" This scam is already working. So what are you talking about? I'm sorry, forgive me. Caroline, please, I your voice today. George, I want you to know.
Oh my God, thank you so much. I've been having some difficulty logging on. What an interesting topic today, and it's almost done. You're almost done, I know that, but I mean, everything you guys have said is I agree with some of the things that you guys have said. When it comes to the health,
which one you didn't agree with? Start from that one that you didn't agree with.
the one I agree with about the people going to Royal Hotel to be doing internet crime and stuff like that. I mean, they do have it. I'm thinking, like, where are they going to get electricity from? Where are they going to get connectivity, you know? But you can never tell. Criminals, sometimes they are thinking way ahead of us. So you can never tell. But on that note, when it comes to, I mean, I think before our government, honestly, they for any deportation, any mass deportation. Let me just say that. And again, when you talk about these mass deportation, people that their friends or family member or other people are being deported to come back to Liberia, and they're happy about it. I mean, how inhumane is that? Like, these are people that have been working in this country. Some of them have been a blessing to you. Some of them have made a whole lot of sacrifices just to make sure you get food on your table or send your children to school. So our community is just so sad, where we amplify the negative things instead of amplifying the positive.
But you know,
discussing the issue, but we need more time to really dive into some of the challenges and stuff that our people might be facing. And they won't be the only one facing these things. There are other communities that will be at risk if we have criminals among these people that will be getting deported. So,
but Dr. Waller, I want to ask you specifically about healthcare, but I want to do this real quick. The crazy thing about this is, those are also are planning our little trip. I'm not telling you where I'm coming. So when you see me coming deportee, that's your problem. But I will come. I will come between now and April. But if I get there, the good thing about this is when you see me, hopefully you think that I'm a deportee and you will stop. You'll not ask me for money. So that's one good thing that come out of this. But but Dr. Waller, let me go back to you. The healthcare system, Dr. George already talked about healthcare. The healthcare system. Do you think we are even prepared to welcome people coming back to our country? Because they're not just going to come and leave the people at our field, they're turning them over to the Liberian government. Are we ready to even care for those people when it comes to healthcare? So let's talk about healthcare.
So honestly, I asked the question, what ready do we have? Because what Liberia has, it doesn't come close to healthcare delivery. We have a broken system that the government has refused to pay attention to. We have over, if I'm correct, we have over 900 plus public healthcare facilities, right? That is deplorable. So you don't have ambulances in the country. Bear the noise. You don't have ambulances in the country, first of all, when something happened, or if something happened. You do not have any emergency preparedness if something do happen. And before I got on the show, I heard you talking about some of these people that will be deported do have some health challenges. Where do they go? A lot of us here, for me, I don't do a lot of primary care visits, except for my yearly annual visits, right? Where is the healthcare system? Where's the primary care that our people will be able to go to? If you have somebody with chronic diabetes, if you have somebody with chronic high blood pressure, how are they going to be managing these things? If you have somebody that have a child with neurological disease, do we have neurologists? Somebody that have cardiac disease, do we have a cardiologist? Somebody that is on dialysis, do we have all of these things in place for these people that come in? Because this is the lifestyle they are used to. I know other people say, oh, but they've been in our country all these years, they didn't do nothing for themselves. It's now they're coming to deport them. But other countries are getting prepared for their people to come. We have less than 2,000 people that came from Ghana. The government could not even take care of those 2,000 people. Where are those people now? Where are the children? We have pregnant women among those people that were deported just from Ghana, people that are used to the African way of life, but some of them having lived in Liberia for their whole life, or some of them having been there for 20, 30 years. It's a culture shock. So as far as healthcare is concerned, our people are not prepared. The government is not prepared to have our people come back to receive quality healthcare in the country. It's just not possible. We have 2 ambulances in some of these counties that are not even functioning. So how are you going to provide quality evidence-based healthcare to your people if the need rises?
Yeah, just Dr. Waller, let me just make this quick closing announcement here, and then we'll continue the show. Don't go anywhere. Stay here with us. And to our friends in Monrovia who are joining us on Freedom FM, it is 7.9. We say thank you for joining us. I know you're about to leave us. So, Chris in studio, thank you so much for carrying the show live. And hopefully we're able to reach those homes in Monrovia. We say thank you for joining us. But we'll continue the conversation online. It's going to be on YouTube and Facebook. So feel free, look for Liberia Shall Rise on YouTube and Facebook and subscribe to the channel, and let's continue this conversation. Dr. George, let me bring you in. You are the political scientist. You are the education person. You know, people have been complaining about the education piece of that. They say education is expensive in the country. We know. You got people that you sponsoring, I got people that are sponsoring the country, and we know how much education is costing. Middle school, junior high school, and high school, crazy. It's astronomical. I did not pay that kind of money when I was in school in our country. What's going to be the downfall or the negative effect if all of this jubilation takes place and we have 2,000 people going back to Liberia? What is the downfall? Our illiteracy rate is very low right now. I mean, very high. Literacy rate is very high. How higher can we go?
We can go higher than where we are. I mean, if we don't encourage people to go to school and we don't have the facility in place, it'll be challenging. You have these people who are coming coming back, let's agree that most of them would be in their early 20s or middle-aged people. So that would be fortunate. We don't have to worry about them being in the education system. So the stress won't be there. Well, the stress we have will be on what you discussed early on, the funding. Most of the Ministry of Education projects are funded by USAID. Whether we talk about the global program for education development at the Ministry of Education, it's funded by USAID. The back to school program, the book packs was funded by USAID. Even the curriculum development, the various curriculum we have and the books we have for school is also funded by USAID. So the Ministry of Education may, because I've read a document that you sent out today where, I think I sent it, or where the senators, almost all the senators have written to Secretary of State Rubio to report to the Senate to answer all these questions. Well, who gave him the right to curtail USAID? So just in case, if the Senate intervene, fine. If the senators do not intervene, I think it's a huge bipartisan group that is inviting him for this conversation. So we're going to lose that, and that's going to affect our education system. USAID is also funding the building of schools in Liberia. In most of the district, we're going to lose that funding, and those schools may not build. The SME, the school management system, I ran a project that USAID funded through the Ministry of Education, that we were developing what we call them the school management boards in the various schools, but we started from Maryland and Grand Jide. That was to go through all Liberia. That if that project is still there, it's going to be affected. They're going to pull that out. So yes, it's going to be a stronghold on our education system. Our education
Josh,
yeah. Yes.
Mr. Josh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So if USAID, you said, okay, if USAID has been in Liberia all this while, right? And they fund our educational system. So then why does the education system look like UL, our primary? So really, where's the money going?
Okay.
Dr. George, before you say anything, before you say anything, think about one more question she's asking you. That doctor question, think about it. because that question, the woman, the doctor asking a question like a pastor wife, it is loaded. Okay. So if you want to go to Liberia to work, don't say anything. now you can answer the question.
I would like to know.
These conversations came out in different forums this week, Madam Wallow. It came out in different forums. There are two sides of it when we're discussing international aid. There's one part of it that shows that a good portion of that money stays here in the U.S. Since President Barack Obama, right? Since when Barack Obama was president, he changed. Before Obama, non-profit money from USAID used to go directly to either the government or to non-profit organizations. But when Obama came, he started this whole news of private contractors, U.S. private contractors. So these U.S. private contractors, they are the ones that get bulk of the money that goes into the country. And it's these contractors, like the writing of the curriculum is being done by, Arise. I can't remember the NGO in Liberia, but they work directly with USAID. They do that. It's not a Liberian government that do the curriculum. So at a level, you may not see a lot on the ground because most of those monies are for specific projects, and once those projects are out, it left with Liberian government to implement. But it's a long conversation. It's a great conversation. It's a long conversation. We can have it when I'm in Texas.
Because and let me just get off to the other side a little bit. People talking about, America should not take away these international aid from Liberia, and I'm going to say, keep it to Liberia because it's helping other people. I understand people are losing their jobs. But as a government, if you don't take care of your people, and every time somebody is giving you something, there's something that's called donor fatigue, right? People get tired pouring into something and they're not receiving anything back receiving anything, getting anything in return. So we cannot continue to rely on international community to feed us when our soil is so fertile that anything you put on the ground of Liberia, it will grow. And so people continue to give you money, millions of dollars, but you have nothing to show for. And now the government, the president, going to make a statement to us in the diaspora that, and something he said yesterday that was going all over the place. I'm like, you cannot say something like that to us when we have been the driving force behind the growth of the economy. And we are in this dying situation. Yes, we understand we need to come home to build our country. But guess what? Many people have decided to go home, and you make the environment so unbearable for them. People that are succeeding in Liberia, they have to either or do certain things outside of their will. And I'm not saying everybody is doing that, but just to get a certificate. Okay, we're talking about systems. You go to the foreign affairs for passport. If you don't know auntie or uncle or somebody in management, you will sit at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs all day. So at the end of the day, you don't get to do anything, right? So you are not creating the environment for your people to come home to this. Like we're saying, all of these people that are coming home, they're not used to these things. You cannot accomplish more than one or two things, important things in Liberia within your daytime. First of all, the traffic is crazy. Second of all, when you go to these ministries, they are expecting you to bribe everybody that you see in order for you to have one person to sign something. For example, birth certificate. We went to the birth certificate office to get a birth certificate. We were there for the entire day. And the so-called leader or manager, it was time for him to sign our document. He said, "Oh, why are you frowning up your face?" I'm like, "We've been here since 9:30 this morning." And then he had the nerve to make the statement to say, "Oh, other people have been here for a whole week." And he's just sitting on people's documents. Why can't we have these things done electronically? The world is going up. The world is developing. And we are just still there with pen and paper. This is some of the reason why you can't.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, you're right on different part of it, and that's where I thought we're going to end the conversation on Mr. Shelby.
Yeah, please. Let's try to wrap it up, guys. Let's wrap it up.
In world civilization, there is a theory called the adversity theory. Now, most countries start to develop in a time of great adversity. So yes, in as much we have our people going back home, we had the users withdrawing the funds. I believe our government should now start to be intelligent enough. And that's the challenge we have. Our government should be intelligent enough. And I don't, let me say this, I don't trust the president's speech, right? I don't know who writes his speech. I don't trust the president's speech writer. I mean, when the Capitol building got burned, and the president had to speak over that. Those were things that you expect the speechwriter should give the president a speech to motivate the country, to motivate the people. But the president started by saying our country is a very poor country. Out of this building, you know. So
our country is not poor.
Yeah,
we just have corrupt, really incompetent so-called leaders.
So, Dr. George, this is what I want to do. I know this conversation.
I think we have to start this show over and come seriously. Liberia is rich. We just lack managers. We lack leaders. We have honest people. We lack people with morals. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself because this topic is not 1 hour topic.
It's not.
Yeah, so
yeah, but I mean, again, as I said, I don't really trust the president. I mean, you expect the president to be motivating us at that time. If you listen to there's a YouTube video that was popular this week with when Trump said that he was going to take aid from South Africa. If you listen to the South African president speaking, that speech, I'm not a South African, but as an African listening to that speech, I was motivated. I was excited, that an African leader could speak like this. But most of the time when our presidents speak, I mean, again, I just think perhaps there's someone need to work the speech writer of Mr. President to help him bring those speech that will motivate us as people, that will empower us to know that we have to rally around to do something positive as people. But Dr. Cole is joining us. So
Dr. George, I know we want to close the broadcast. Dr. Cole just joined us, so please let's give her the platforms. Let's hear from her before we close.
Well, I have a question.
Dr. Hardy, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sharif. Thank you to the other panelists that are on here. My sweetheart, Caroline, thank you so much for your input, for your constant love for Liberia. It tells all over you. When you're talking, your passion shows how much you care about that country. And I love you for that. But I just wanted to add, or maybe I have a question. I know you guys are wondering and you guys are discussing what is going to happen with the people that are going to go back. What do we have set in place for those people that are going to go back? I know they are going back abruptly, and it is not a nice thing for us to see those people going, and we are rejoicing back here. There are some people that are rejoicing to see those people go. But you never know. Even you that have your paper, you never know what might change tomorrow. So we need to have that thought in our mind that anything can change at any time, and we can also be affected. So this is not a time to rejoice over our brothers and sisters that are being sent back home abruptly. But even though they are sent back home abruptly, my question here is, you are going back to Liberia. I mean, with everything else that is happening right now, I know it's happening so fast. Everybody kind of confused and stuff like that. When you sit down, those people need to start thinking, what is my plan B? When I enter Liberia, what am I going to do? Because there are some people that are educated. There are some people that have different skills. There are some people that are already equipped. Maybe they have some of the things that they need to establish themselves in Liberia. They are not going to take it, but mentally it's there. They're not taking anything with them, but mentally it's there. So would they be willing to get back to Liberia and do some of the things that they need to do to improve the country also? I can remember the president that said that you will not always say what the country can do for me, but what can I do for the country? I know it's a distressing time, but why you return when you are home, I want them to place that in their mind and start thinking, what can I do to survive in Liberia? What are some of the things that I can do to make contribution to what is going on in the country right now? Because they are not the same people that left from Liberia that came. Especially the ones that have spent maybe 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 years. They are not the same people. They will not be going back the same way they came from Liberia. They are going to go back improved. So let them start thinking about what they can give to the country while they are there in Liberia, until maybe some papers can be fixed for them to come back here. That's my input.
Yes. So Dr. Cole, thank you so much for that input. Dr. Hadi, I'm sure said, thank you for that input. I think the crazy thing about all of this, I think this is why we're calling on the government. The question is very much on point, because if you have a country that have a very structure, department, the work of that particular department now, they should be trying to assess who is coming back. What are they bringing with them? And you start to look at the skill set in each of those individuals that are coming back. If Sharif is coming back and Sharif is a social scientist, how can we use him into the administration? What work can he do? How can we empower him? When you assess all of those skill sets, then you start to plug them into the fabric of society. But because you don't have that structure and everybody is just coming, you pick them up from Ralphie and maybe you just take them to a place and you house them for a week or so and you just let them go, it makes no difference. Until we have that structure in place, your question, unfortunately, will not be answered properly. Caroline, let me let you weigh in.
Yeah, and definitely, sorry, you said it right. You can't be function. You cannot function in an environment that has not created the opportunity for you to function. That is our problem. People need to we again. I'm going back to Ghana. Our Liberian sisters and brothers that came from Ghana, they had no. Right now, after Spoon TV made noise about the living condition of the people in Bon County, have we heard anything? No, we don't even know the state of those people. So how can you prepare when you don't have an environment conducive enough to receive your people? So at the end of the day, everybody's just going to be loose. And, first of all, people don't have jobs. People are not being given the opportunity to go to the bank. Some of these people were not able to open a bank account. They probably gave their money to family or friends to keep the money for them because they don't have any people of that money. Some people will not give their money to them. So they're going to go to Liberia with nothing. And you get there, now you find one lot that is being sold for $1,500 to $2,000. So at the end of the day, we don't have Liberians in Liberia that can afford these land or that can afford a decent, safe apartment. So they end up living in the ghettos. You see a lot of zinc houses and what have you. So our government need to prepare. They need to build a Section A apartment, break down the entire West Point, build an apartment or duplex that is affordable and accessible. That is subsidized so that these people that are coming back, even common Liberians that are living in Liberia, will be able to afford it. How many Liberians in Liberia can tell you they will go to the hospital when they are sick? No, they either
Caroline, internet.
Yeah, but I just thought to throw that question out. So, people can be thinking, the people that are leaving can have something to think about, the government itself, because I know some of them watch the show, to have something to start thinking about. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, these are your citizens. They're going to be coming home. You got to put something in place for them. Some individual. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, man. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, some individual that feels that, what, if I go and the government cannot help me, I have this skill, I can try to establish this little thing for me to be doing in the meantime. But it will not be all of them. There are some that just came, that don't have any skill for that matter. What happens to that person? So there is something that I just throw out there so we all can start thinking to see whether we can have some solution to some of the problems that is going to arise. There are some problems that will come up when these people go back to Liberia. We need to start thinking about how we can answer some of these questions when they ask, when they need be.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. Like you said, our country, we need to prepare for these things. And we were setting up a diaspora committee. The president came here to Dallas. He said he was going to set up a diaspora committee that's supposed to work with the diaspora to make sure we partner up. So this is a good place to start, right? Some of our own are coming home now. If you welcome them in a proper way, try to figure out to make them to feel, hey, you were sent from your place where you are getting a greener pasture. Welcome home. This is where this is where we need your help. If you have any skills, we can use it. If you don't have any skill, we can provide you temporary housing and until you get on your feet. Something like that will make people to feel like, oh, if I leave my country again, I know my country got love for me. So at least I will continue to contribute to my country. But the sad thing is, if those people go back and the government don't help them, and our people that are on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok, making those videos laughing at them, and those people leave Liberia, they will never go back to Liberia. They will never go back to Liberia. they will find other African countries to make home. And we are sitting down right here and we see our neighbor Ghana. The Black Americans are flooding to Ghana because Ghana have opened their hands and say, come, once you come here, we welcome you. You understand? So Liberia need to find a way to start welcoming its citizens and other people that they want to encourage to come home, especially people that are in a sad situation where they got deported. Those people could have been on their way to Walmart, they could have been at school, or they could have been at work, and I scheme for them. You understand?
Yeah.
And took them home. So those people don't have their credit, they may not have their credit card with them, they may not have anything. And one last thing I would like to say to people is, even those of us in the US, when anybody knock your door for some reason, look through your window before you open it. I see pictures online, girls are posting, say 5 guys are standing outside talking to me, say they are ass agent. Where those people can do anything to you. You don't know people. There are criminals in America too that are taking advantage of this whole ICE thing. People can come to your house with false ICE jacket and they can harm you and your family members. So if anybody is standing at your door, say they are ICE, let them show you warrant. If they don't show you warrant, don't open the door for them.
Or signed warrant too. The warrant that is signed by a judge.
Yeah, and you can talk to them through your security, or you can talk to them through something else. But again, I think we'll have a part 2 of this topic since it's hot and is going on. Our people are struggling, and we as Liberians, even in the diaspora, some of us are scary because my question is, I'm Black, I'm American citizen, I may be American citizen, but the guy that is at the immigration, once he see me and he asks me that question and I have accent and he don't like my answer, he can decide to arrest me. And when he arrests me, I don't know what to do. Should I start carrying my passport with me everywhere I'm going? Should I start carrying my driver, keep my driver license on me, which I do already? But for us that are legal, what do we do? That's the question we should start asking ourselves, right?
I
Are
told
you
you
safe?
mine already. It's on my phone. I ain't playing with it.
Yeah, so maybe carry copies of your passport or your driver license, everything on in your phone. In that way, when they arrest you, you got something to say. Or if they pull you over, you got some, because now the police have the right to pull you over and ask you for papers. You know, so we are in a very tough time. We need to stick together as a people, you know. So I will let you guys say 1 or 2 more things to our people, then we can end the show, because the original host did not run away and they leave you with me. So
we get to the church and I need to go. But again, you know, we can always come back with part 2 of this show to continuously, you know, educate our people back home. I have a message to our people. I'm so sorry for those of you who, you know, are victims of deportation. It is not something that anyone should be happy about, to see or their friends or family members get deported in this situation. People that have committed crimes, I'm not, you know, saying that it's okay to commit crime. I'm sure there are some Liberians that are sitting in jail waiting for deportation after they have completed their sentence or time, if they are a U.S. citizen. But if you're not a U.S. citizen and you commit a crime, you will be on the list. So that is the reason why when you're in a foreign country or even in your own home, there should be no room for committing crime. You know, because you never know when these times will come. Okay, so I'm encouraging every one of us Liberians to be civil and not. Another thing I'm hearing, other people are calling on each other, you know, calling ICE or calling Homeland Security on each other about, you know, reporting their neighbor and stuff. This is how people got killed during the war. We call the soldiers and, oh, this is a guilt person, this is a crime person, and we end up killing each other. And that's what's going on right now. People are calling the Homeland Security on their friend, their neighbor, and stuff like that, only because they have had misunderstanding or what have you, or whatever their aim is. But and that is sad, you know, that is sad for us to be rejoicing over these people problems. For the government, again, I have nothing really to say to this government. If this right here doesn't waking our African leaders, our Liberian leaders, to put the system in place so it can work for not just the few, but for all Liberians, then I don't know when they're going to wake up, because you cannot continue to ask for assistance, but yet your lawmakers and everybody, the few people are using the US dollars more than you and myself. And we have little children that don't even have a fitting place to sleep or good nutritional food to eat. So government of Liberia, the leadership of Liberia need to rise up. They need to wake up and put their act together. You need to feed yourself. Be like the guy that is, the president of Burkina Faso. Everybody is hailing him, but Trump is doing what Trump is doing, interest of his people. So why you, Liberian government, put the interest of your people first, take care of your people, build some housing, houses that will be accessible for the common Liberian to be able to afford. Put the healthcare system in place, put the educational system in place, put security in place, get some running water and 24/7 electricity for your people. Stop, give your people the basic things of life so they can survive. If this thing right now, right here, doesn't make you're talking about you're going to decrease the salary of the people to no more than $7,000 United States dollars. No one in Liberia should be making $7,000 or more United States dollars when you claim your country is poor. So to my government, I say you need to do better by your people. Put the interests of your people in place. Sign some executive orders, okay? Be brave about it. Other people are doing it. Do it for your people. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. Dr. Harley, go ahead, Mama. Let's end this. Thank you so much for coming on, both of you. Mama, go ahead. I think I'm hanging with you a little more now, so go ahead. This is good.
Well, all I can say is before Sherry left, he said something about doing a primary assessment. I am hoping that a government official is listening or will listen to this podcast and listen to it to the end and hear that part that he said, primary assessment. Do the primary assessment, because these people are coming home. It's not to say there is a joke that they are not coming, but they are coming home. Do the assessment so you can know where to place them. And also, the government has some form of authority over the businesses that is in Liberia. So for instance, if they have people that work in hospitality in the states here that is going to be deported, find a way that the hotels can hire these people and bring them in. They can be people that come in to train other staff that are already there, just to give them something to do so that they can be able to receive maybe a little per diem for them to live on until they can get on their feet. They don't have to be only hospitality. It can be in other areas, maybe in the place of secretarial science, maybe in the place of nurses assistant. All of those things you can have this whole place in the different areas because you have some form of control over the businesses that are in your country. Let's do something good to help our people. It is a sad situation, like I said earlier. Do not laugh, because you never know. Things can change rapidly. We did not see this coming. Last December, we were celebrating Christmas and jumping all around. You got in January, these scare tactics have come over us, and now we don't know what to do with ourselves. It is not something to laugh about. Try to find a way to help your brother or your sister. If they gave you money because they could not open a bank account here, please be honest enough to send those people money to them when they send them back home. Please be honest enough, because God knows you and he sees you. Be honest enough to return those people money. It is not yours. You knew the situation they were in when they asked you to hold their money or keep it. So not because they are going back to Africa, so you decide you will hold the money here. God sees you. And I'm a preacher woman. God sees you. He knows what you are planning, and he knows deeply what is in your heart. Send those people money back, because maybe that's the only money they will have to survive on. They are going home, and they're going home with nothing. When you hear deportation, it means the pants that you're wearing, the shirt that you're wearing, and that's it, or the shoes that are on your feet. So that you don't even go back with shoes. So please Be nice enough to your brother and your sister. This is not a time for us to fight. It's time to come together as one unit and help each other. Thank you, Dr. Positive, for the opportunity to be on here. Caroline, thank you for your input and those that were on earlier. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.
All right. Thank you so much. On that note, family, we want to say thank you. All right. Yeah, take care. Take care, everybody.
You do the same.
Yeah, family, on that note, we want to say thank you. Enjoy your Super Bowl out there. Some of you will be having fun today, but your brothers and sisters, some of them are afraid. Right now, they can't go to work. They can't go to their jobs. They can't go to their children, can't go to school, and a whole lot of things. People are afraid. So let's pray with our brother. Let's stick together as a family, as a community. Let's stick together and do whatever we can to help each other out. If you need a lawyer, seek out immigration lawyer. If you have a case that is pending, seek out immigration lawyer to get help where possible. But if you don't have a lawyer and you do need help, basically stay out of places that you will be likely target to be arrested or something. So that's all I can say to you right now. We will keep checking. I know some of our communities are having meetings. Join those meetings. They are bringing lawyers that will talk to you. Join those meetings and they will advise you on what to do. This is not time for you to be on an island. Seek out resources that can help you. Even go to the USCIS website, check out other government resources that are out here to know your rights. Because when you know your rights, when somebody pull up to your door, when somebody says something to you, you have a number to call. So please be participating in events when people invite you to those events. The community, I know on, I think February 15 or so, the Liberian community had a meeting, or I think is this coming, actually February 15, they will be having a meeting concerning this. So please try to join. We'll find that link and post it online. Try to join if you have immigration issues, or if you think you are one of those people that need to talk to a lawyer, because you may find some information in there that will be helpful. So please look out on social media, contact your community leaders and ask them what help they have as far as immigration is concerned, so that you can get some help. On that note, we say thank you all for watching. Every one of you watching for the first time, please follow Liberia Shall Rise. We are here to show care for our community, because if we stick together, our own national anthem says, in union strong, success is sure, right? So let's stick together, and together we can do better things. And to our family in Liberia, I want to say, let's not show hate for our brothers and sisters that are in a bad situation now. This is the time for us to show love. So show love and let us love each other. Again, thank you all. You guys have a great Sunday, and we'll be back here next week with another edition of Liberia Shall Rise. Take care, everybody.